This is the original podcast edition of The Guild of the Cowry Catchers by Abigail Hilton, now part of the complete Pirates of Wefrevane series. The books are available as audiobooks, ebooks, and paperbacks. This podcast originally aired from 2010 to 2014. Stick around after the story for commentary from me, the author, more than a decade later. The Guild of the Cowry Catchers, a novel of pirates in Panamindorah. Written and narrated by Abigail Hilton. Book 4, Out of the Ashes. Warning: this novel was intended for people who shop in the grown-up section of the bookstore. If you need to ask whether you will be offended, you probably will. Episode 8. Chapter 23, Ocelon Town Again.
Traditional Ocelon culture and religion have become so corrupted by crime, poverty, and Grishnod influence that it is difficult to reconstruct their original form. Tea ceremonies seem to have played a major role. Tea leaves may still be consulted by Ocelons trying to make difficult decisions. However, many of the elders entrusted with interpreting such omens have been corrupted by Grishnod coin. This has resulted in widespread cynicism among the younger generations of Ocelons, who neither value their own culture nor that of the Grishnods. Gwaine, the non-Grishnods of Wefrevane.
They flew to Cern on Felbane and two of the Nightingale's Griffin scouts. They arrived near evening and circled the harbor once before landing near the docks. They saw no sign of the Fang or any other temple ship. The harbor was a busy place with the approach of prime shipping season, and they didn't seem to draw any attention as they started away towards the warehouse district and Ocelon Town. The Griffins remained near the docks, where no one was likely to bother them.
I hope no one saw the Griffins,
muttered Lou.
I don't think Ocelons will talk to us if they think we've got Griffins.
She was dressed inconspicuously, in a rough brown-spun dress, but she looked a good deal more nervous than Silvio. Marlowe had painted his face with a few Ocelon-style stripes. He'd used a brown face paint of Gwaine's, and it looked more convincing than Cole.
Gwaine, where exactly do we need to go?
Gwaine shook his head.
I'll have to ask.
He was dressed as an Ocelon as well, with his tail tucked into his pants, and his hair dyed a dark brown. He was wearing boots designed to fit over his hooves and mimic the appearance of paws. Gerard couldn't help remembering the last time he'd been on Cern. Had it only been 2 years ago?
We found Gwaine's bookmaking machines, the prototypes at least, and didn't know what they were. Alcer batted phonetic characters around the warehouse floor, and Silvio called them worthless scrap. Gwaine tried to poison me.
They were in the dirt streets of Ocelon Town now, walking the narrow lanes between the hodgepodge of leather and wood and scrap metal that made up the tents. The sun had almost set, and red moon was rising over the city. Lanterns burned outside some of the tents and inside others. The place wasn't as quiet as Gerard remembered. Shelts called to each other from doorways. A stream of grimy, tired-looking adults and children jostled each other in the narrow lanes. Gerard saw Shelts dressed like dock workers, field laborers, errand boys and girls, clerks, household servants, all coming home after a long day's work. He also saw less reputable figures, well-dressed adults with no obvious purpose loitering in doorways, children who were almost certainly pickpockets comparing the day's takings, tired-looking girls with too much jewelry and not enough clothes.
Sweet home waters,
muttered Lou.
Doesn't look like much has changed in 15 years.
Let's hope something changes today,
said Gwaine. He pushed aside a bead curtain and stepped into a tent smelling of incense. Gerard thought they weren't far from the place where he'd first had tea with Flag. The 6 of them nearly filled the little tent. Gerard's head brushed the ceiling. They pushed 2 tables together and sat down.
Don't drink anything unless I tell you,
said Lou quietly. A young boy appeared from an inner doorway. He glanced at them for a moment and then left without a word. Moments later, an older female appeared, probably his mother. She looked them over without comment, and then retreated. Finally, an older male appeared, graying at the temples and wearing a deep frown.
"What do you want?"
"We want tea,"
said Gawain mildly. Their host retreated. Gerard heard a furious whispered argument behind the wall to the back room.
Do you think they recognize you?
He whispered. Gawain's expression didn't change.
"Not sure."
Finally, the male reappeared with a tray of tea things. He set it down and began methodically arranging little trays of cakes and tiny cups. Gawain folded his hands on the table.
"You didn't actually take our order."
The Ocelon grunted.
"This is a specialty tea house. If you want variety, there are other tea houses down the street."
"Ah, but I remember you served water once."
The Ocelon nearly dropped a teacup. He stared at Gawain and then growled low in his throat.
"I thought so. You have some nerve coming in here like this with these others."
His eyes swept the group, but lingered for a moment of extra disdain on Gerard, who could not be disguised as anything but a Grishnard.
"They're friends,"
said Gawain.
"Do we get water or not?"
The Ocelon's nostrils flared. He took a step back.
"That's not my decision. I'll have to ask, and it may take a while. Wait here."
He left the tea things. Silvio had already taken a cup and sniffed it. His eyes met Lou's across the table, and she nodded.
Don't drink or eat any of this,
she whispered.
"I wasn't planning on it,"
said Gawain.
"What's in it?"
Lou frowned, sniffed carefully at a cup.
Maybe combin root?
Silvio gave a noncommittal shrug.
Something to immobilize us. Not deadly. Something to make us drunk or sleepy. It would fool a dull-nosed fawn or Grishnard, but not most Panons.
Gawain nodded.
"Most Grishnards with the audacity to walk into a place like this at night could expect, at the very least, to wake up in a dark alley with empty money belts."
Marlowe reached out, dipped his finger in the tea, and wrote on the table, "Best not talk, they are listening." His eyes flicked to the dividing wall between the inner and outer rooms of the tent, and Gerard saw what he meant. The dim light of a lantern in the room beyond supplied the vague outline of a crouched shape, probably the little boy, against the wall beside the door. Gawain nodded. They sat in tense silence, listening to the clatter of activity from the street. After a while, Gawain took out a little leather-bound writing book, adjusted his lenses, and began penning something in small, precise characters. Serwin was openly picking his nails with a dagger. Marlowe was watching the silhouettes beyond the wall, his ears flicking at every sound. Lou stared morosely at the tea. Silvio was sitting with his hands in his lap. Gerard could almost feel the churn of his thoughts, but he couldn't pick out a clear thread. It got darker outside. Finally, Silvio said,
"I don't like this. It doesn't smell right. Something's wrong."
Gerard considered.
Do you want me to tell Gawain? Ask him to let you take over?
Silvio bit his lip.
"I would, except for my plan, we need to at least know where his printing machine is."
He looked up at Gerard, worried, his pale blue eyes glinting against his coal in the lantern light. Gerard reached under the table and took Silvio's hand. He turned it over and ran his thumb in circles over Silvio's wrist. He could feel the foxling relax a little.
"Maybe it's just this place,"
he said after a moment.
"Maybe I'm jumping at nothing."
Well, they have tried to poison us.
Gerard pointed out.
Never wait on other Shelts. It gives them time to prepare, time to think, time to make traps. If anyone's waiting, it ought to be them on us.
Is that a rule from your assassin days?
Silvio nodded. After a moment, he said,
"Gerard, do you know why I don't tell everyone my plans?"
Why?
Because Shelts perform better if they believe their leader has more cards than he's showing. They don't freeze. They relax and do their jobs. They figure if all else fails, Sylvie's got some sort of magic safety net.
Only sometimes you don't?
Sometimes I come up with it at the last minute. Better to let them think it was there all along. Otherwise, they panic.
Only this way, you panic all by yourself.
Silvio gave a nervous laugh. Serwin glanced at him.
Too bad we can't all do what you two are doing.
Silvio gave him a smirk and raised one eyebrow. Serwyn shook his dagger at him.
Whatever you're thinking is not what I meant.
At that moment, the adult male Ocelon came back into the room.
You are all to follow me.
Chapter 24. Outbid.
Most of the old cities in Wefervain have been damaged multiple times by earthquake, fire, or flood. The rebuilding process creates labyrinths beneath these cities. Basements and lower levels are sealed off and forgotten. Sometimes they are rediscovered or excavated later for criminal purposes. Many of the non-Grishnards of Wefervain make their homes in such places. Gwaine, the non-Grishnards of Wefervain.
They all stood and followed their host into the inner room of the tea house. There, a cabinet had been opened and the back wall removed to reveal narrow stairs leading down into the dark. Silvio tensed when he saw it.
I don't like this,
He repeated to Gerard.
Why are they letting you, a Grishnard, see something secret? They should have asked you to stay behind. They should have at least argued about it.
Gwaine told them I'm a friend.
Gerard pointed out. Silvio only shook his head, but he followed the others into the basement below Ocelon Town. Their guide led the way with a lantern.
This is CERN's underground.
Gerard nodded.
We met Lou in a place kind of like this on Haplag.
Yes, only Haplag's underground is gentler than CERN's.
They followed the lantern light through a labyrinth of musty passages. The tunnels were very dark, especially near the back of the group where Gerard and Silvio were walking.
I'm not sure I could find my way out,
said Silvio after a while.
even with my nose. The mold smell covers everything, and we've taken so many turns.
Finally, they came to a set of rickety wooden stairs. Gwaine paused at the foot of the stairs and made a tiny gesture. The Ocelon leading the way didn't see it. In the shadows near the stairs, Gerard saw something about chest high and covered with a blanket.
I think that's it.
Gerard said to Silvio.
The printing machine.
Good. We can get it and leave.
They came out in a cramped room of some old building. There were couches and chairs, shelves covered with knickknacks, and even a few books. Half a dozen ancient female Ocelons sat around a small table, their hair gray and thin, their facial stripes lost in wrinkles. A single tall candle stood on the table. By its light, the sunken eyes of the crones looked like black wells of shadow. Lou stiffened when she saw them.
The old ones,
she whispered.
Yes, child.
Purred one of their hosts.
Come here, all of you.
They came, although Silvio was protesting all the way in Gerard's head.
Tell Gwaine to just take it and leave. These evil bitches never did anyone any good.
One of the crones was speaking again.
Gwaine Major, we heard you were dead, then alive, then gone. We never expected to see you here again, and in such company.
While she spoke, one of the others walked down the line of the group, looking into their eyes, sniffing critically. She whispered something to the spokeshelt before she sat back down.
A Grishnard, a Foxling, a Leopon, a Leon, an Ocelon,
murmured the speaker in her cracked voice.
And you, a half-breed who acts more Grishnard than he looks and brought a plague upon his last allies.
I am not here for myself,
said Gwaine.
I'm here because I was asked to help. As you may have heard, Major Minor is to become a Grishnard settlement. The Shelts who live there will be sold into the worst kind of slavery. The mills and the galleys, the fields of the great estates, the airships, the mines.
The Ocelons looked unmoved.
The Shelts you speak of are mostly fawns, non-Ocelons, non-Felids, not our problem.
They are non-Grishnards,
agreed Gwaine.
So are you.
We have never concerned ourselves with the goings-on outside of Ocelon town,
growled one crone.
Have you not seen our naked children, our beggars and whores and smugglers? These are desperate Shelts in desperate circumstances. We have enough to cope with here. But when have princes ever understood the dirty streets on which their palaces are built?
Gawain took a deep breath.
I was a prince, it's true. I'm also a faun, a species that even you despise. And for all your poverty, you are better off than most of them. You and I both know there was a time when you did help, when you passed messages and hid shelts and supplies. I'm not asking you to do that again. I'm only asking for the machine in your basement. It's mine. I'd like it back.
It's true what they say about half-breeds,
growled the main speaker.
You were born to make trouble, Major. You brought the fate on Major Minor that is now overtaking them. If we listen to you, you will bring the same on us.
Serwyn snarled.
The wyverns are the ones who bring misery and death. They may devour you slowly as they do here on CERN, or rapidly as they're about to do on Major Minor, but it's the same in the end.
Gawain spoke up.
I believe that the change of policy on Major Minor represents larger changes that are coming. The priestess and her wyverns will order them, and the Grishnards will carry them out. I do not think you will escape. You have lived on the edge of war with the Grishnards for a long time. Now, it is fight or die.
One of the Ocelons sniffed.
We are felids. We will not be treated like fawns.
I think you will. I think you'll find that tolerance for diversity is about to become scarce in Wefervain.
The six whispered among each other for a moment. Finally, their leader said,
We must consult the old gods. Bring in the tea.
She had no sooner said it than their guide reappeared at the door, bearing a tea tray. Lou spoke up.
Oh, just say it. You've already decided what you're going to do. We're not fools.
One of the crones gave her a pitying look.
Little daughter, when did you lose all your faith?
Lou glared at her.
By the time I was 6, I'd lost faith in whoever was running Ocelon Town. I know you take money from the king. You frighten Shelts with your tea leaves and your muttering, and you give them advice that keeps them in their place. You sell faith to the highest bidder.
One of the crones clicked her tongue, an angry sound.
Something you will learn if you ever reach our age, child. It's important to remember your place. Yours is precarious at the moment. Tell us, Major, why should we risk the wrath of your uncle and perhaps the High Priestess so that you can help some fawns?
As she said it, she raised the lid of the teapot, steam curling in the air. A look of exasperation flicked across Gawain's face.
You should do it because it's the right thing to do. It would also be an act of self-preservation. When it's your turn to be ruthlessly annihilated, you'll wish you hadn't alienated your allies.
Gerard?
Silvio had gone rigid in his chair.
That's not tea.
Gerard looked at Lou. She was sitting farther from the Ocelon who'd opened the teapot. She didn't look so much alarmed as puzzled. Then her eyes went round. Lou and Silvio leapt from their chairs almost simultaneously. Silvio was making a desperate, garbled hissing. Lou screamed.
Get up! Get back the tea!
Before she could say anything else, one of the crones picked up the candle and plunged it into the teapot. There was a blinding flash, followed by near darkness, and billows of smothering, chalky smoke. Gerard had leapt to his feet, along with Silvio and Lou. He started to draw his sword, but his eyes were stinging so badly that he could hardly open them. He began to cough uncontrollably. He could hear the others coughing and gagging, stumbling around the room. Then Gerard's knees unhinged, and he hit the floor. His head was spinning, and he knew he was about to faint. With a great effort, he forced his watering eyes to open. The crones seemed to have fled, but as the smoke began to clear, he saw a familiar silhouette in the doorway, framed against the light from the hall. Gerard recognized the hat, and, as his eyes snapped shut again, he heard Laali Nern laughing.
Well, the old ones do sometimes sell things to the highest bidder. Perhaps you should have counted your cowries before you started bidding against me.
Chapter 25. More Acts of Mercy.
In the deepest jungles of Cern lives a spotted cat larger than a leopard or lion, the jaguar. This cat is extinct according to Lord Cern, but villagers swear they still find footprints. The jaguar may cling to existence, but its shelts are certainly gone. Their skeletons are on display in the Healers' College on Mance. Jaguar shelts were as big as Grishnard's, and their animal counterparts could have rivaled griffins in battle. Every skeleton on record has the marks of a violent death. Gwaine, the non-Grishnards of Wefervane.
Gerard was so angry he could taste it, bitter in his mouth, hot, dark, burning pressure behind his eyes. And underneath the anger, grief, horror, and paralyzing fear. He opened his eyes. He was running through lantern-lit streets, uncomfortable, inexpensive clothes, festival clothes, with too much starch, lace, and brocade. He could see all 3 moons full in the sky. The streets looked familiar. He was going to the temple. He saw it rising above the buildings and the strangely empty streets, its colored glass flashing in the moonlight, reflecting off the pools of water. And now he saw Shelts, but they were not acting like Shelts at festival. They weren't singing, or laughing, or talking, or playing games. They were just standing. Gerard ran up the steps of the temple. He saw Jalil standing there, staring into the dimly lit interior. Gerard grabbed his brother by the shoulders and shook him.
Where is she?
But Jalil only shook his head. Gerard ran on into the temple. The door closed behind him with a boom. It was not as beautiful as Morchella's temple on Leklock. This one had more colored glass than crystal, fewer gems. The floor and walls were polished rock, not marble, but there were still 2 pools on either side of an aisle, and, at the head of the aisle, a dais. There was no throne, only a bead curtain, beyond which lay the inner sanctum. Normally, lamps of red, blue, and yellow were lit at festival time in honor of the moons. But only red lamps were burning in the temple tonight. A thin, dark line laced its way out of the inner sanctum, down the steps of the dais, across the floor, and into one of the pools. The water of the pool turned to hazy pink. Gerard could feel the anger ebbing into fear. He walked closer to the dais. In the shadows beyond the curtain, something moved. A voice full of petty malice sneered,
"Perhaps you should have counted your cowries before you started bidding against me, Gerard."
Where are we?
Gerard turned to see Silvio walking cautiously up the aisle. He was wearing the garish finery he'd worn when they'd gone to see Gerard's father, complete with purple and yellow feathered cape, enormous red and yellow plumed hat, and bells in his tail. Gerard stared at him.
We're in the temple on Holovaris the night.
The sense of panic and urgency that had been building in his chest began to subside. Silvio looked at the trail of blood.
The night your daughter died.
Gerard nodded. It was easier, now that he knew he was dreaming.
It didn't happen like this, though. I'd been called away to deal with some stupid argument among the ruling families on Holovaris 3. When I came back, it was all over. I never went to the temple. I just got Thess and fled.
The shadow on the other side of the curtain had disappeared. The room didn't feel so threatening anymore, just sad. Silvio came over and took Gerard's hand.
It's a nightmare. Nightmares don't have to make sense.
I don't understand why I'm dreaming about it now. I haven't even thought about it in a long time. I never really thought about it much. Thinking didn't help. It only made me angry and sad.
Silvio tugged on his hand.
Do you think we can go outside?
They could. All the Shelts had disappeared, and the town looked strangely empty, with just the 3 brilliant moons hanging in the sky. They sat down on the temple steps.
She was only a yellow moon old. Her eyes were still closed. I could hold her in one hand. Thess named her Michaela, after a princess in a story. We called her Mika.
She was a princess.
Gerard shut his eyes.
I swore I'd never forgive the gods. And then I went and did their work without
knowing.
They were quiet for a moment. Silvio looked up with a teasing expression.
Look what you dressed me in.
I didn't.
It's your dream, isn't it? Oh, stop looking embarrassed. It's probably because this is what I was wearing the last time you were in Holovaris.
I wish we'd wake up.
Maybe we're unconscious. Maybe we can't wake up.
Gerard shivered.
I can think of so many other times and places on Holovaris where I'd rather be stuck in a dream. Mine aren't usually this real.
Silvio considered.
Seems like the ones we have together are different than normal dreams.
Gerard remembered some of the dreams he'd had when Marcella was trying to torment him through the link she'd created. He shivered again.
Yes. Different.
The water of one of the pools stirred, and a plume of red drifted up to stain the surface. Gerard could almost feel the texture of the dream bending, turning into a nightmare again. From inside the temple came a growl, and then the sounds of something being messily consumed. Bones crunched. Gerard's breath quickened. He wanted to run.
Gerard.
Silvio stood up, while Gerard was still sitting on the step.
Look at me.
Silvio took Gerard's face in his hands.
This is your nightmare, not mine, so I don't have to play along.
Silvio kissed him. Gerard pulled away an instant later.
Silvio, you have a tongue.
Silvio grinned.
You just now noticed? I've been talking this whole time.
Yes, I guess I'm not thinking very clearly.
Silvio leaned in until his mouth was almost on Gerard's.
We're dreaming. Make the most of it.
It felt strange, both the situation and the fact that Silvio had a normal tongue. After a moment, though, Gerard decided it was good strange. He wrapped his arms around the foxling, kissed him harder, and pulled him into his lap. Silvio's hat toppled off and rolled down the steps. The bells in his tail chimed softly. All sounds from the temple had ceased. Gerard wasn't even sure the building was still behind them. He didn't look.
You know...
Silvio kissed his way to Gerard's earlobe.
We could make this a really good dream.
Gerard ran one hand under the back of Silvio's coat. With an effort, he got the shirt untucked and finally found warm skin.
You're wearing too many clothes.
You too.
Silvio was busy with Gerard's neckcloth, all gold lacework and embroidery.
You look nice, like a prince. I, on the other hand, look like...
My friend.
Silvio laughed.
I was going to say you're courtesan.
He gave the neckcloth a playful tug.
I always wondered what that would be like. Plenty to eat, nice clothes, mostly belonging to one person. I don't think I'd mind that.
Gerard ran his hand through Silvio's hair.
I think you'd get bored.
Silvio shrugged.
Maybe. I won't get bored in this dream, though. Not if you let me show you what I can do with a whole tongue.
Gerard risked a glance around. They were still on Holovaris.
This dream seems like it's gone on a long time. Do you think we're dying, Silvio?
Dying? Gods, I never thought it would be this nice.
He got busy unbuttoning Gerard's shirt.
Is this only happening because we're in a dream, or have you really forgiven me for the catmint?
Gerard frowned.
That wasn't anything that needed forgiving. Well, nothing you did. Have you forgiven me?
Silvio didn't say anything for a moment. His eyes slid away from Gerard's face, and he started tracing little patterns on his chest.
I thought maybe you were trying to decide whether to keep me.
Gerard grimaced.
Silvio...
Silvio raised his head, his pale eyes luminous against his coal in the moonlight.
You don't have to. Even now, I want you to have good memories of me, Gerard.
Gerard felt cold. He tried to say something, but no sound came. He couldn't even move. There was a roaring in his ears. Everything was fading, except Silvio. His eyes were bright as gemstones, bright as tears. Gerard opened his eyes. They stung, and he shut them at once. He had a brief impression of a nearly dark wooden box, faint, intermittent lantern light between the slats. They were moving. He could feel the rocking of the wagon, the rattle of the wheels over cobbles. His hands and feet were bound painfully tight, but there was something in his arms, something warm, burrowed up against his chest.
Silvio?
He felt limp, although Gerard's bound hands were nearly numb and wedged against the side of the box, so that it was difficult to make sense of anything. Silvio was between his arms and his chest. Gerard suspected he'd crawled there while they were dreaming. He could feel himself spiraling into panic.
Silvio?
Gerard?
It was Gwain's voice from across the dark box.
Silvio's not...
Gerard was waking up more. He forced himself to stillness and realized that Silvio was breathing. His breath had a wheezy sound.
He's smaller,
said Gwain.
More drugged for his size. It may take him longer to wake up. Is anyone else awake?
Gerard heard a muffled growl that might have been Serwin. He wasn't paying much attention. He curled up as much as he could, put his cheek against the top of Silvio's head.
Silvio, please wake up. You're frightening me. We need you. I need you. Please.
He was repeating it almost mindlessly when Silvio sneezed. He sneezed again and again, gagged.
Gerard.
Silvio's voice in his head sounded weak, confused.
I'm here. We're tied up in some kind of box on a wagon. Silvio, do you remember the dream? Were you really there, or...?
Gerard felt him nod. He seemed almost too weak to talk. Gerard nestled his chin against the top of Silvio's head. He listened to the rattle of the wagon, felt the reassuring rise and fall of Silvio's breathing. He tried to ignore the tingling pain in his hands and paws. Finally, Silvio said,
Gerard, do you think you could dream us back to Holovaris?
Gerard smiled.
If I could, I'd put us on a beach somewhere on a sunny day.
With Takar and Felbane.
Yes. Silvio, you don't think you'd do me any favors by dying, do you?
Silvio shook his head. He didn't say anything. Gerard did not feel reassured.
I nearly lost my mind when Tess died. I don't know what I'd do if anything happened to you.
Silvio inched up a fraction.
What you'd do is cry for a while, and then you'd find yourself a nice Grishnard girl and have some kids. Maybe that's what you should do anyway.
I miss you all the time.
Silvio didn't answer.
Ask them how Lou is.
Silvio, I should tell you some things.
Now isn't the time, Gerard.
Now is exactly the time. When you sold me and I was all alone on that mill on the ship, I missed you. I wasn't in love with you, but I loved you. I missed talking to you. I had conversations with you in my head, even when I was angry with you. When Gwain told me you were dead, I just shut down for a while. You're precious to me. Do you understand that?
Silvio hesitated. Finally, he said,
Can we try to get out of here alive before I respond to that?
Lou,
said Gerard aloud.
Are you awake?
She's breathing,
came Marlowe's voice.
but not awake.
Suddenly the wagon stopped. Gerard heard muffled noises outside, then the sound of someone trying to lever off the lid.
So much for making a plan and getting ourselves organized. Are you ready to face Mistress again? Because I'm not.
Gerard tensed.
They actually nailed us in.
The Shelts outside were handling the fact awkwardly, crunching through wood in their efforts to get the box open. Gerard wondered whether they would be tortured, locked in a cell, separated, or killed on the spot. Something gleamed briefly as it chopped into the side of the box. Cool night air spilled through the hole, a little ambient starlight, but not the flood of lantern light Gerard had expected. There was a splintering crack as a metal bar was forced into the opening and then used to pry up the lid of the box, popping out nails as it went, showering the box's occupants with sharp metal. Several shapes appeared, silhouettes that seemed to move too fast.
Are they all dead?
Asked a child's voice. Another answered,
No, that one's eyes are open. Don't just lie there, you lumps. Get moving if you want to be saved.
The box exploded in a struggling confusion of limbs and weak voices, as everyone attempted to indicate that they were entirely willing to be saved. Gwain was the first one out of the box, a little unsteady, but he'd already managed to get his feet loose. Marlowe was able to get up then. Lou was lying beside him, and he picked her up. Serwin, Gerard, and Silvio all staggered up together and scrambled gingerly over the nails and splintered wood to the dirt street. They found themselves in an alley, where their benefactors, who all appeared to be children, were busily cutting everyone's bonds. Soon, the cold lumps of lead that had been Gerard's hands and paws were turning into balls of fire and needles as the blood returned. They even got their weapons back.
They were in front with the driver,
said a child.
Who are you?
Asked Gerard.
Thieves,
said one, with a touch of pride.
We always pay our debts.
And how do you owe us?
Asked Gwaine.
Well,
said one.
I'm pretty sure he saved my life once.
He pointed at Gerard. Gerard saw suddenly that he was a foxling, perhaps 10 years old, and he had only the stump of a tail. You have been listening to The Guild of the Cowry Catchers by Abigail Hilton. Copyright Abigail Hilton. Cowry Catchers is an illustrated story with ink and watercolor artwork by Sarah Cloutier. You can view the sketch art for free on the website at cowrycatchers.com, and the episode covers provide a sneak peek at the finished artwork. If you'd like to view the complete illustrations and support the podcast, the ebook is for sale on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Smashwords, Kobo, and most other ebook platforms. As of this recording, it costs $5. A big thank you in advance to those who purchase the book or review it. This podcast included the vocal talents of
Nathan Lowell
as Gerard,
Norm Sherman
as Silvio,
Chris Lester
as Gwaine,
Hughes Hilton
as Marlowe,
Amy Watkins
as Lou,
Brian Lincoln
as Serwin,
Jeff McDowell
as Lyali Nern,
Rish Outfield
as the tea house owner,
Alundine,
Starla Hutchton,
and
B.A. Shane Holzer
as Ocelon Crones,
Alice Copeland
as Mouse. Sound effects for this podcast were provided by SoundSnap, the Free Sound Project, and Sound Dogs. The intro music for this podcast was Grace by Beth Quist. The outro music is The River Between by Jamie Saber. Both were licensed with permission from Magnatune.net. Music for Book 4 of Cowry Catchers included selections from Digital Juice at digitaljuice.com and Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. It also included additional music from Beth Quist, Diana Rowan, and Jamie Saber, all from Magnatune.net. All music was licensed and used according to the terms of the websites. This is a standard copyright now. This podcast is provided for your personal enjoyment only. You can download and archive the episodes for your personal use. You may not re-upload, mirror, or publicly redistribute the audio files, nor can you alter, remix, or create derivative works. And I'm back. This is 2026 Abby, coming to you with a few thoughts on the story. So earlier in this book, we had Silvio having horrific dreams about his past, and Gerard being able to go back in time a little bit and comfort the injured child that he was. And now we've got kind of the inverse of Gerard having some dreams about horrific things that happened to him in his past, not as a child, but really bad moments, and Silvio being able to provide comfort and perspective, and even an adult perspective, or a more dispassionate outsider perspective about something that Gerard has a hard time being objective about because it's very painful. So I still like the way I did that with these two characters being able to provide each other comfort and perspective in different ways at different moments in time. I also still like the foreshadowing I did here. There's a hint of what is going to happen next that is delivered via Gerard's dream and what he dreams about immediately following the events in the story. I had actually forgotten that I kind of used that scene to provide that hint, and it surprised me momentarily as well. Some of you will have figured it out, some of you will have not figured it out. And then, of course, at the end of this, we've got Mouse coming back in after a very long time away. I finally get to tie threads from the very beginning of the story back into this point, closer to the end. And I don't think it's a spoiler to say this is the little foxling that Alsair tormented on the docks in CERN in the very beginning of the story. And, he's still missing his tail. So I don't think that's a spoiler. Most of you will have caught that. If not, you're going to catch it in the next few sentences of the next chapter. I hope you're enjoying the story. I hope you're enjoying the pieces, the threads that are coming back in from the very beginning. We're going to keep on having those. And I will talk to you later. This is Abigail Hilton, and you have been listening to the Pirates of Wefravain saga. Join me on Patreon for early episodes, long-form interviews, forum access, personal updates, and lots of artwork, including maps and species charts. That's patreon.com/Abigail Hilton. If you want the whole story now with no interruptions and some remastering of the early books for sound quality, you can find the entire series at shop.abigailhilton.com, along with all my other novels. The audiobooks are delivered by BookFunnel. Background music was Hidden Sky by Jamie Sieber, licensed from Magnatune.net circa 2014. The Guild of the Cowry Catchers podcast is an audio adaptation of the Pirates of Wefravain saga, written and produced by Abigail Hilton. Original production copyright 2010. All rights are reserved to the author.